welcome to Shooby Dooby Doo-Up, a podcast where we talk about pop music, specifically by delving deeply into a randomly chose top 10 from the past. Oh, we'll hear the thunder roar and feel the lightning strike. They fill up our senses between a woman and a man. Yeah, we're off to sunny Spain. Take a bow, make a stand and start swaying with the hand. I'm Andy Robinson.
And I'm James Cook.
And what top 10 from the past randomly picked are we delving into this week, James?
We are going to the 16th of September, 1974.
These records are all floating about, though, within the top 40s. When Will I See You Again by 3 Degrees, Mr. Soft by Cockney Rebel, Pinball by Brian Prothero, Rock Your Baby by George McRae, Rock the Boat, a lot of rocking going on by Hughes Corporation, She, Charles Aznavour, Everything I Own, Ken Booth. All of those records made the top 10 eventually. In our special Patreon content, which we like to push early in the show, James.
Yes, in our bonus tracks, we will be highlighting 6 songs that never make the top 10, but that are in the charts on this day, and it is well worth listening to this week. Some absolute bangers in there.
Spoiler alert, there are some bangers. What a joy it's been. I'm going to be largely effusive about what's to follow.
We've got Elton John and Kiki Dee, but not together.
Not together?
No. Cat Stevens, the Commodores, and we'll talk about what is probably the most pressed record of all time. You can join our Patreon community for free. The Bonus Tracks podcast costs less than a bottle of Bailey's Irish Cream a month.
I loved one of them in 1974.
When you were 5.
Let me ask you, James, what were you up to on the 16th of September 1974?
Oh, this was way before I was even thought of.
You were nothing but a glint in your mother's and father's eyes. Me, I was around. I was a living, breathing organism, but I was blinking into the world, about 3 or 4 years old. I had no real memory of these charts, although one record seems to have dug deep and stuck in my cranium all my life. Here's what else is going on the 16th of September 1974, or at least around that time, that all male colleges in Oxford have started admitting women. I don't know whether that means admitting women exist or just admitting women. There's a second general election of the year just happened. And maybe my favourite fact, CFAX has just been started by the BBC, the very first incarnation of the internet.
And I remember growing up, I would look at the charts on CFAX. Did you ever do that? Look at the charts. Yeah, that was a wonderful service.
Wonderful service.
Well done, CFAX. The internet would be so much better if it was limited to 999 pages.
And if everybody looked like Lego representation of themselves, they'd have a real good shout on the deep fake lot, I reckon.
It would be a lot better if the internet was CFAX. I don't know where this podcast would fit into that.
Me, personally, I bought none of these records. What we've been naught but a nipper, but subsequently I bought 30% on best-ofs and various compilations and whatnot. That counts, doesn't it, James?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
I wish I had some stats about this week's top 10.
Well, call me the genie of the lamp, because I'm going to grant your wish right now.
I love your stats, even when they're wished for.
In this top 10, we have 3 UK number ones. We have 6 songs going up, 3 going down, and 1 non-mover, for a total net movement of positive 17. There are 6 American artists, only 2 British, a Swede, and 1 British/Jamaican. There are 3 cover versions, 2 groups, 7 solo artists, and a duo.
By my reckoning, there are 6 songs about the complexities of love, 2 songs about a participatory role in nightlife through music, and 2 songs about cultures not native to indigenous UK record buying public at all. So that's good. As always, we have a Spotify and a YouTube playlist linked in our descriptions, and we heartily recommend you clicking on them. Like I say, it's a brilliant top 10 this week. I have been putting it on, James, dancing around, having a great time to it of my own volition without even feeling the need of it being research.
And it's a really interesting time in the charts because it's one of those transitional periods, isn't it, 1974? So you've got like the tail end of glam, and then you've got the start of disco, and they're just kind of crossing over.
I getcha. Pleasingly, there are 3 songs with key changes this week. One of them with 2 or 3 key changes all of its own, like a little infinite universe all of itself.
Greedy, if you ask me. Are there any self-referential songs?
There are no songs of self-reference, I believe. Let's hang on in there, baby.
Number 10.
It's a non-mover. At number 10, it's Cozy Powell with Na Na Na.
Yes, only 1 letter different from banana. quite pleasingly.
Well, they say the human DNA is very similar to a banana. I mean, here's two examples sitting right here talking about this great record.
This record does share a lot of its DNA with a banana.
It's what I like to call a real Dumbo song, and I mean that. It's a great compliment. Pleasingly, it's a record by Cozy Powell. He's a drummer on this record, isn't he? You would maybe expect a degree of, let's call it virtuosity, if a drummer is putting himself at the front of the record. Not so Cozy Powell. Is pretty much that, isn't it? All the way. Na, 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 na. That's it all the way through, and not all the way through, because there's some verses which I'm going to overanalyse in a short while, James. I loved it this week. It got me going.
It is a big stomping glam rock song, isn't it? And it's a song also about how much the singer wants to be in a band.
Yes.
I always like songs that are like that, because I'm like, you are in one. That's how come I can hear you doing it.
He doesn't want to be in a band, though, does he? Let's dig into the lyrics.
Basically, all the verses are his dad suggesting jobs he could do. And he says he doesn't want to do any of them. He wants to be in a band, and then he goes through all the instruments he doesn't want to play before revealing which instrument he does want to play.
What I like particularly, James, is you've got the sing. When I was a kid, my old man said to me, when you grow up, son, what's it gonna be? You're gonna go to school and get a degree, or you're going to work in a factory? I said, nah, 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 nah. So immediately the chorus is an answer, isn't it, to, let's call it, his father's hassling about get your hair cut and get a proper job.
His father insistence that there are only two possible things you can do with your life: get a degree or work in a factory, which is actually a pretty oversimplified but accurate summation of the class system in Britain in the 70s.
He don't want to be no guitar star, so let's get rid of, let's call it the six-string beauty. And the man on the piano works too damn hard, just getting it in and out of the venue, possibly. Now, the bass man, he don't cop for no glamour. I want to be the man with the 50-pound hammer. Go in, na, 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 na. I like that line a lot. I know you get your kicks playing Hendrix licks. So that's a good, I'm going to call it a little bit of a slag off to a guitar player, isn't it?
Is it, or it's just an acknowledgement that this is what you're into?
Now, this is good, James. You like a little quiz, chucking one on me, don't you? He also goes on to talk about it. The lead singer, Frank Aiello, he's saying, you are the J.S. Bach of Belsize Park. What other top 10 record from the past mentions Belsize Park? According to Clive Friedman, 9285. Ooh, good question, isn't it?
I can hear it in my head. Is it taking the bus down to Belsize Park or something like that? Is that the line?
I do not know. I did not look
into
it. I just took the answer
and something like the Small Faces or the Kinks or something of that era?
No.
Is it more modern?
Wow. Okay then. I like us delving into it. It's from let's call it 1980, I reckon. 1981.
I'm thinking about Gorky Park being referenced in Wind of Change by the Scorpions. In my head now, that's going down to Belsize Park. That's not right, is it? That's not where the revolution happened.
I'm bored of this now.
Sorry.
Clive Friedman, 9285, says it was in a Kayleigh by Marillion.
Kayleigh! Of course it's bloody Kayleigh. That's mid-80s. That's not early 80s.
Oh, well, my apologies. So
I knew that. That's really annoyed me.
What I like about it is in the verse, let's say it's such a simple song in so many ways. The chorus is essentially going na 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 E A B and E as standard as you get. But on the verses, like the first verse is going, we can't do it exactly for copyright, so they're going, when I was a girl, my mom said to me, when you grow up, daughter, what's it gonna, sort of stays there on the B. The second time you hear the verse, which is, the man at the desk said, I know how you feel, something like that, doing the job, fixing automobiles. That's the second verse. And then the third verse, I know you get your kicks playing Hendrix licks, you're a wizard of Wembley. So they change it every time for the verse on such a stupid, simple record. It just keeps it shifting, not so you'd notice it. I mean, I'd listened to it about 8 times before I realised that was going on in the verses.
It's more complicated than you think, it turns out. Produced by Mickey Most, who we have spoken of before on this podcast, once owner of the world's biggest house. Not the world's biggest house, Britain's biggest house.
I mean, it's got some great production on it, hasn't it? It's got obviously the drum beat, the guitars sound great. There's a weird crowd noise on it. Also, when you think it's all over, There's a little bass run.
Yeah, the doo-ga-doo-ga-doo-ga-doo-ga-doo.
Boom, 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 boom. I mean, it might be the clumsiest bass run I've ever heard in my life, but it just adds to the excitement. It's not like the bass bit in You Can Call Me Al by Paul Simon, where it all breaks down, hear something amazing. This bass guitar feels like it's falling down the stairs, and I appreciate it for it. Do you know anything about Cozy Powell?
Of course I do.
Tell me. I mean, a national acrobat on YouTube says, does anyone else think that Cozy Powell could be Clint Eastwood's brother? And I thought that's a good shout. He looks cool, Cozy Powell, and handsome.
Born Colin Trevor Flukes.
Oh, yeah.
Colin Flukes is his real name. Born in Cirencester. When he was in his late teens, he was in a band called the Corals, who broke a world record for the longest set by a band without repeating a song, which is pretty impressive.
It's impressive.
And then later, he'd appear on the TV show Record Breakers, playing 400 different drums in 58 seconds. The video clip is on YouTube. It's Cozy Powell running down a line of drums, hitting each one as he goes.
Maybe we should put that in our YouTube playlist this week as well, as well as these 16 records we shall be talking about.
So he's a record breaker twice over, Cozy Powell. He drummed with Rainbow, Whitesnake, Black Sabbath, among many others. He claimed he played the drums on Superstition, but he didn't. I don't think he did.
More bullshit in the world of pop. He got his name, of course, because he famously liked to drum in his slippers, didn't he?
Is that so?
No, I just made that up.
No.
Email us into shoobypodcast@gmail.com if you know where Cozy Powell got his nickname from.
Well, it's short for Colin, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Don't bother.
Where did Powell come from? That's got not Flukes. He could have been Cozy Flukes. Should we talk about his death?
I believe, from what I saw on YouTube, he was on his silly nana, as we alluded to at the beginning of talking about this record. We were talking about bananas, weren't we?
Yeah.
He was on his phone while driving, wasn't he?
Yeah. In 1998, he died on the M4. He was speeding, he was on his phone, and he wasn't wearing a seatbelt.
That won't get you through your test, Cozy Powell.
Yeah, stop being so bloody rock and roll, Cozy Powell. Not on Record Breakers now.
There was a lot of arguing going on about let's call it the nature of his death on YouTube, and I couldn't really be bothered because I was just digging this song, to be honest, having a little bop about.
Do you know there wasn't going to be a vocal on this track?
Tell me more.
Well, Cozy Powell had released a couple of instrumentals, Dance with the Devil, I think most famously.
Yes.
You know, he was going to put out a whole album of just him drumming. And Mickey Most kind of no, we need to have a vocal on this track.
It's an interesting thing, isn't it? As I mentioned, I mean, it's its name on the marquee is Cozy Powell, isn't it? And you would think this record would illuminate his drumming skills, but it's so stupid and simple, really. I kind of like the lack of ego from Cozy Powell, that he's just happy to keep it going, all the way through.
And if you don't know anything about this, and you hear it on the radio and it's back announced as that was Cozy Powell with Na Na Na, you'd go, oh, that must be the singer.
But it was Frank Aiello.
We just automatically assume if it's a one name, then it must be the singer. That's why everyone thinks Vince Furnier's name's Alice Cooper.
Yeah, or all them records were sung by Spencer Davis.
Ray Dorset.
Manfred Mann. Yeah.
The Dave Clark Five. He was the drummer, wasn't he?
Yeah.
What other bands are named after the drummer? Fleetwood Mac, named after the drummer.
Good shout.
And the bass player.
In that case, this band would have been called Pal Shaman. I mean, I like the bass player, like Shaman. This little nod to Michael Jackson, if nothing else.
Was Michael Jackson paying tribute to him, do you think, in all those songs?
Yeah, that's another fact. Email us into shoobypodcast@gmail.com if you don't think that's true.
Number 9.
Up 6 places to number 9, it's Queen of Clubs by Casey and the Sunshine Band. This is their first UK hit, and it was a hit here before it would hit in their native United States. They have such a weird chart record in America.
Oh, really?
Because they have 5 US number 1s and 1 US number 2, and nothing else that they released gets, I think the highest is like number 18. And everything else is like way down the charts. So in America, they either really, really loved the Casey and the Sunshine Band record, or they weren't that bothered about it.
Okay.
Funnily enough, the only number 1 they had in the UK, which was Give It Up, that was the one that got to number 18 in America. America were like, yeah, it's fine.
Well, once again, more cultural differences between us and our brothers and sisters across the pond.
Do you know who Casey is?
Please tell me.
Well, because it's written as the letters KC.
Kentucky Chicken, Kevin Carter,
No,
King Crimson.
No, it's Harry Casey is his surname, and he's shortened it to KC. And they're called the Sunshine Band because they're from Florida.
Does what it says on the tin, I suppose. Did you know this record before it came this week?
Nope.
Did you like it?
I did a bit.
A bit, you say?
It's quite a simple disco record, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
But this is like the early stages of disco.
I mean, I've loved it again this week. What I like about it especially, I'm going to call it a 4-chord song. D minor, G, B minor, and a D major, right? So at the beginning, it's in D minor, not he, they, the Sunshine Band are in D minor. Again, I'm not saying this is all it is. This is just simple building blocks, but it's so simple. It's going in every nightclub across the nation. It's just in D minor, groovy, yeah, with much better bass. High, all that stuff. You can imagine. And then the beautiful, simple chorus, James, just goes B minor, she, B minor, the queen of clubs, and it goes to a major. She's a queen of clubs. That's all it is. It made me think this week about choruses. Sometimes that's all you need, actually, a little refrain. And also, I really love the notion of a chorus being she's a queen of clubs. I thought, why has no one had that before? Actually, I should have changed it for copyright for that. I need to choose a playing card that isn't the queen of clubs, so it doesn't do its song. So she's the ace of spades. Oh, no, I've done it again. I've got myself into a bigger mess. That's the way I like it, baby.
Yeah. Is there an entire deck of cards that you can make out of pop songs?
No.
You've got the Queen of Clubs, you've got the Ace of Spades.
What else? The Joker?
Joker.
Steve Miller.
2 Hearts.
Phil Collins.
By
Nice
Phil
work.
Collins, 2 of Hearts.
Yeah.
Yeah, you must be able to do the whole deck of cards.
Diamonds by Rihanna.
Yep.
Just cover all that, let's call all that suit with that song.
Queen of Clubs is about a woman who brings the party wherever she goes, keeping it swinging well past midnight. My favourite lyric in it, from city to city and coast to coast, she's more than hip now. She's the most. I think we should bring back calling people the most when they're the best.
You're the most.
You're the most, mate.
I like the lines that if you throw a party and she ain't there, people, let me tell you, your party's nowhere.
Party's nowhere, mate. Where's the Queen of Clubs? She's not here, is she? Your party is ruined. This party isn't the most. This party is the least.
I mean, it's got brilliant horn section on, I suppose, as you would expect from the Sunshine Band, from the limited records I know of them. Hey, do you know who sings backing vocals on it? I learned off YouTube. Do you not know?
Is it George McRae?
Yeah, it's George McRae. Yeah.
Do you know why George McRae sings backing vocals on it?
Please tell me.
Because...
And let's say, before we get into it, let's just say he's doing a brilliant job. So they're going, please, I'm the queen of clubs.
Yeah, he's just yelling. He's just screaming. It's great. It's because Harry Casey and Richard Finch, who he started Casey and the Sunshine Band with, they had written Rock Your Baby.
Oh, yeah.
Which had been a huge hit for George McRae. Massive. Arguably the first disco #1 in the UK.
And as I mentioned at the beginning, within this week's top 40 of 16th of September 1974, just to remind you.
And it sold 11 million copies worldwide. It is one of the biggest selling records of all time. So that would explain why he's on this record. The fortunes of Casey and the Sunshine Band since this record are mixed, to say the least.
Go on.
Harry Casey had a major car crash in 1981, which meant he was paralysed for 6 months.
Maybe he was going the same way Cozy Powell was driving.
Drove into Cozy Powell. And he had to relearn how to walk and everything. But incredibly, he did. And like 2 years later, Casey and the Sunshine Band have Give It Up as a #1 in the UK.
Yeah.
In 2010, Richard Finch was arrested and pleaded no contest to a charge of having inappropriate contact with a 17-year-old male and was sentenced to 7 years in prison.
Who, Richard Finch?
Yeah.
Who's he
in
this?
Casey and the Sunshine Band.
Okay.
And the guitarist Jerome Smith died in 2000 when he was crushed by a bulldozer.
Wow.
I mean, that's probably the most Spinal Tap death we've had so far.
Yep. It might be so far.
Because he was working.
I'm not laughing at his death, by the way.
No.
R.I.P. to all these people, and thank you for your contribution to the panoply of pop music.
But he was working as a construction worker, hence the proximity to a bulldozer. And you think, wow, the guy who played guitar on 5 American #1s ended up working on a building site.
Quite. I mean, it's a musician's life, isn't it? Because of, let's call it the pop star nature of everything. We all watch these musicians thinking, I bet they live in mansions and all that. They live a tough life, musicians.
Yeah, unless they've written the songs.
Yes, and even that's changing these days with streaming. So, yeah, I mean, it's a tough business, let's say. As we allude to every week with stories of Lord knows who. I liked it on YouTube. This made me think, James. Someone thanked the Shazam app for telling them what this song was. Now, there's a silly little YouTube comment. I've seen it a couple of times this week. And it is amazing, isn't it? The more I think about it. I've got Shazam. I use it all the time on my phone when I'm out and about. So, I'd like a Shazam sometimes, though, that's the equivalent that just works out what the fuck some people are going on about sometimes. And hang on, I just pull my phone out and say, I see what you're talking about again. You're going on about your mortgage one more time.
I've never had Shazam because obviously I know all songs.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, we'll find out later whether that is true. She's the queen of clubs. She's having a great time, and that's who she is. That's where she is. It works on two levels. That song, it reminded me a little bit the two-level thing of a 1974 hit, the Wombles. They worked on two levels, didn't they?
Yes, they did, Andy. Yeah.
Number 8.
Up 9 to number 8, it's Barry White with Can't Get Enough of Your Love, or should I say Barry White and the Love Unlimited Orchestra. They're on there, aren't they?
Nope.
No?
Nope,
Okay.
just credited to Barry White.
My apologies.
I looked into this, and the Love Unlimited Orchestra do not play on this. Although some members of it do, but it's not an official Love Unlimited Orchestra credited song.
Well, thank you for correcting me, whilst I was just trying to give at least a passing nod to the musicians who also contribute to these great records. Not this time, though, Love Unlimited. Do one, you're not on it.
And by the way, it's Can't Get Enough of Your Love, Babe. Don't forget the babe at the end, otherwise you don't know who he's talking to.
Right, yeah.
Do you know what? I can't get enough of Your Love, Babe.
I've been digging it a lot this week. Isn't
it great?
Yeah. Do you know what I like to... This record and another one, it passes what I like to call my well test. Do you know?
Your well test?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
I will tell you about it. Some songs, James, he's got the... what's the intro? It's a B flat major 7th, A minor 7th. C,
yeah, and then he does that talking bit.
Well.
Sincere talking with a deep voice.
Yeah.
I've heard people say that too much of anything is no good for you. But I don't know about that. He doesn't say it like that. That's what he says.
And then it goes into the, let's call it the main chorus of something like F, A minor, B flat major, C. Let's say it's that essentially. But what I like about these songs, James, sometimes, there's another one coming up, spoiler alert, is sometimes with these soul records, I can just, he's got the singing, and I like it when I can go, dude, they are singing, and I can go, well, and you can do it over all these records. Well, he nearly does it. I would like to know. Please email us into shoobypodcast@gmail.com. Who was the first person who ever sang well on one of these records? I mean, you can do it over loads of records. That Eternal one. I want to be the only one who loves you. Will. Do it all the time.
Well, wells have been around since, Neolithic times. Probably around about 8,400 BC. So
Okay,
it could be someone way back then.
Nice research off the top of your head. I've seen your phone in your pocket, you naughty boy.
If there were two of them next to each other, right, well, there you go. Boom. I think we've invented soul music.
I mean, loads of jokes about Barry White, isn't there? On the internet, YouTube comments, he leans into him himself about how much is he responsible for, let's call it, a population growth. I think it's quite a good gimmick to have. If you're a soul singer, just say, and it's true. It seems to be true.
Have you seen the clip of him being interviewed by Conan?
No.
In about 2000. It's a really fun interview. Barry White comes across as a great laugh, where Conan asks him about that. And he's like, yep.
You'd take that as a mantle, wouldn't you? What's your other nickname? The Walrus of Love. I mean, it's a better legacy than that.
It's a bit of an insult, isn't it?
It really is.
Barry, you've been likened to an animal. A tiger, maybe? A panther? No, a walrus. Oh, okay. Is it because of these tusks?
This that bit of the new Robbie Williams films at a time as recording has been out a month or so, and he goes, the director says to him, Robbie, what do you think your spirit animal is? And Williams is going, I don't know, I think a lion probably. And then the director goes, have another think. A monkey?
Yeah. We all think we're lions, don't we, deep down? But some of us are walruses, like me and Barry White. He's also nicknamed Dr. Love, Mr. Love, that's obviously before he got the degree, the Maestro of Love, the Prince of Pillow Talk, and the Ambassador of Romance.
You would take all of them.
Do you know who this song is about?
No, please tell me.
It is about one of the backing singers from the Love Unlimited Orchestra.
Oh, yeah. Like they had a thing for, they had a crush for, they had a...
Yeah, Glodine James, her name was. He wrote this song for her one night when he couldn't get off to sleep. They get married in October 1974. They separated in 1988, but they never got divorced and sort of remained good friends until Barry White passed away. He allegedly smoked 150 cigarettes a day.
Lightweight.
Explain the voice, wouldn't it? It is so very deep. In which TV series, famous TV series, does Barry White sing a version of this song?
I believe it to be, mainly because I was reminded by YouTube comments, Ally McBeal.
Oh, yes, it is in Ally McBeal. Yeah. There's another one.
Simpsons?
Yeah, in The Simpsons.
It's either The Simpsons or The Muppets with you, James. I always know this.
In the episode Whacking Day, where Lisa and Bart use his voice to entice snakes into the house so they don't get hit. And it's a very, very funny episode. Barry White was a massive fan of The Simpsons and was delighted to be asked to be in it. And, one of my favourite lines in The Simpsons, where they go, "You like snakes, don't you, Barry White?" And he says, "I love the sexy slither of a lady snake."
On YouTube, there's a great performance. It does live. It's longer than the record. It's joyous. He's wearing a big, stupid lime green suit. Check that out. And what I loved about this clip, James, there's a bloke on the front row. He's going for it from the off.
Is it you?
It could well
Usually,
be
bloke in front row going for it is you. Is it you?
Not this time. And this fella, let's call it, is unabashed, dance like no one's watching, despite, for instance, I was watching 40 years later on YouTube. He gets the party going, this fella. He lets everyone know, well, I'll never look as daft as that, let's say, and it's happening.
That's your spirit animal right there, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe.
It's great. It's big, sweeping strings, beautiful music, a unique singing voice, and what a sentiment.
What more do you need?
I can't get enough of your love, babe. Do you think he's singing to cigarettes?
I can't get enough of his love, babe, this week.
Number 7.
Up 2 places to number 7, You by Alvin Stardust. It's not how he sings it.
I've loved this record this week. I have been bopping around to this despite its simplistic nature, or maybe because of its simplistic nature.
Another glam track. Alvin's 4th consecutive top 10 hit in 12 months. Or is it?
Go on.
Do you know what Alvin Stardust's first hit was?
When he was in the guise of Shane Fenton.
No. The artist Alvin Stardust.
I would imagine it's My Cuckoo.
Yeah. Who sang that?
Alvin Stardust, this is all right then. Alvin Stardust, as far as I know, the producer of My Cuckoo sang it. He was going to be the pop star Alvin Stardust. He didn't fancy it, though the name was still going about, so we got some other bloke in to play the part of Alvin Stardust.
That's exactly right. It was, My Cuckoo was sung by Peter Shelley, not the bloke from the Buzzcocks, but the one who has a number 3 hit in 1975 with a song called Love Me, Love My Dog. He sang on My Cuckoo. He was the original Alvin Stardust, but as you say, he didn't want to carry on with it.
The rumour is he did it, recorded My Cuckoo, and then thought, I don't fancy being a pop star. I don't want the hassle, which isn't appealing to me, that trait. And what a hassle Alvin Stardust is. I was watching an old performance from Top of the Pops. Immediately the record starts. Let me get my guitar. Again, it's a simple 3-chorder, really. I can't sing you because of copyright, but essentially it's in F. Well, me, I'm all like to see. And it's got that lovely doobie. You can imagine. Simple as you like, but what I liked about it is the opening camera shot of this television performance focuses on his gloved hands. He's got the rings on his gloves. He's twirling the mic lead seductively, and let's face it, a little bit creepily through his fingers. And in about 2 seconds, you think, oh, it's Alvin Stardust. You know, this idea of creating a pop star, they did a great job with him.
Yeah, so the Alvin Stardust who sings on this Alvin Stardust track is a bloke called Bernard Jury, and as we have talked about in a previous bonus tracks episode, he was known as Shane Fenton because he was in a band called Shane Fenton and the Fentones.
And I don't think Shane Fenton was his real name. I think he adopted that character as well, didn't he?
Yes, he did. There had been a previous Shane Fenton, who was a guy called Johnny Theakston, who sadly died at a really young age. And so the Shane Fenton name passed over to Bernard Jury. So his pop career in those two instances, incredibly, they've both been him taking over under an assumed name from someone else who was also using an assumed name.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, there he is with his doing his kung fu poses and holding the mic at that peculiar 90-degree angle and twirling it above his head when there's a solo of some kind. I mean, you know, it's all great pop star behaviour.
And
I watch him and I think that's a good performance, that is.
Do you think he saw three sheep standing next to each other and that's where he got the idea for the song from?
Maybe.
And someone will have been watching that Top of the Pops performance at the time and they've gone, do you know what? This is the guy we need to tell the kids about road safety.
Yeah. I mean, he just emanates that air, doesn't he, of taking care with the traffic.
Yeah. You must be out of your tiny minds.
James is referring to Alvin Stardust Roll as, what would you call him? The Green Cross Code Man, I suppose. Dressed
No,
up like...
it was always Alvin Stardust. He wasn't the Green Cross Code Man. That was David Prowse, who would go on to be the body of Darth Vader.
That's true. He didn't have the Green Cross Code Man superhero costume on. He was in his black leather gloves, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Weirdly, around
The
the kids.
man in black leather gloves tells you not to cross the road. Run.
Since we're talking about like, pop stars telling us about the road, it's time for my weekly throw a little quiz on you, James. Should we hear what pop stars have said things about the road in the past? Which pop star said this? If you don't like the road you're walking, start paving another one.
Oh,
That's a little
okay.
alternative bit of a road safety that Alvin Stardust never give you.
Someone who probably worked as a road maintenance worker.
She worked, but not as a road maintenance. In fact, she kept more valid office hours.
All right, so it's a female singer who worked off... is it Sheena Easton?
No, it's the other one, Dolly Parton.
Ah, rats.
All right, who said this about the road? Life is one big road with lots of signs. So when you're riding through the ruts, don't complicate your mind. Flee from hate and mischief and jealousy. Don't bury your thoughts, put your vision to reality. Wake up and live. That sounds like a song lyric.
It does sound like lyrics, unless they speak in poems the whole time. They mentioned the Ruts. Is it the lead singer of the Ruts?
Unless Bob Marley's the lead singer of the Ruts, no.
No.
All right, then this is a good quote about the road that Alvin Stardust never have told us. Map out your future, but do it in pencil. The road ahead is as long as you make it. Make it worth the trip.
All right, so there's an allusion to sort of using pencils, the correct art materials, which kind of makes me think of Rolf Harris, but it's not going to be, is it?
John Bon Jovi.
Oh.
All right, let's do one more and get out of here. This might not be a pop star, but you can work out possibly. Who said the women's movement in Korea was pioneered by the great comrade Kim II Sung, which followed the proud road of development under the leadership of comrades Kim Sung and Kim Jong.
Have you just found a Wikipedia entry? Is it Wikipedia?
No, it is Kim Jong-un, that well-known pop star.
I hear he's the greatest pop star who's ever lived. He's had 1 million number ones.
Anyway, what I liked about this Alvin Stardust song, well, I was checking out the YouTube, James. This made me think about Bob Dylan and being on the road and a life well lived, if you like, because there's a clip from, say, about 12, 13 years ago of Alvin Stardust, whoever he may be,
Bernard Jury.
singing this song. It's at like at Nantwich Civic Hall, right, this performance. Now,
Is that the night he went electric?
maybe.
That's the night he took his gloves off. And everyone's like, Judas!
Traitor!
Put your gloves back on!
I don't believe you, my cuckoo. So there he is. Now, what made me think about this gig from 15 odd years ago at Nantwich Civic Hall? First of all, as you can imagine, it's Alvin Stardust, full of old people. So the fact that someone had a phone and filmed it is real good.
Someone got their grandson to talk them through it. Yeah.
Now, if you're a keen gig goer, you would recognise these scenes at this gig, regardless whether you like the song or not. Everyone having a lovely time. The band are rocking. He's still singing great. And then they do that thing sometimes, see if I can show it here, where I really like it when it's not so much bands, but when lead singers do this, so he's going, everything I need is you. And everyone starts clapping, going mad. He goes off, and as he starts going off, the band come in again. And provide just another, provide another ending, as you say. And I love it when a singer. Again, as we mentioned with Cozy Pal, they're almost the ego. They don't need to soak up the applause right at the very end. They can bunk off and let the band have a little bit of the spotlight.
It's great when there's a little bonus bit at the end, isn't there? Speaking of which, remember to subscribe to our Patreon and you get access to our bonus tracks episodes.
As someone in YouTube comments says, this is fantastic footage of the King of Mansfield. So there's another nickname. I mean, Alvin Stardust probably would have jumped into that role, the King of Mansfield, if one was going.
It's better than being the walrus of Mansfield.
Number 6.
Down to number 6, it's Sylvia with Viva España.
Right, so this isn't on Spotify in its English version.
No.
Which is the version that charts in the UK.
There's another version on Spotify, though, isn't there? Is it
Yes.
the original?
The original one that's in Dutch.
Go on. No,
There's so many different versions of this song.
Oh, really? Yeah. I'm all ears. Before you delve in, James, this is one of the songs with the key changes in, so I just thought I'd get that in. I feel much, much more relieved now. Tell me all about this song and its complexities despite its simplistic nature.
Well, it's a song all about how amazing Spain is and how we should all go to Spain and long live Spain. It's written by two Belgians, Leo Kurtz and lyricist Leo Rosenstraten. And the original is in Dutch and was recorded by Samantha. No, not the scorekeeper from I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue, but a woman called Christiane Bervowitz. So she's not called Samantha. No one in this chart is using their real name. It's really annoying. The song is called Y Viva España, where Y Viva is one word, E-V-I-V-A. There's no such word in Spanish as Eviva.
Who says it's one word? Where have you got this fact from?
The original title is Eviva.
My apologies from the original title. Yeah. I understand now. My mistake.
Now, in Italian, Eviva means long live, so long live Spain.
It's an insurance company in England.
Yep. In Spanish, though, that phrase would be Que viva España. Y viva, Y space V-I-V-A, which is what the English version is called, means and live. So it's literally translated as and live Spain, which just sounds like AI has written it.
Okay, well, that's all good. Let's call it grammatical research, isn't it? It seems to have annoyed you, James. I like it.
But it's been re-recorded in so many different languages, including Arabic, Finnish and Hungarian. The English version that we're talking about here is sung by Sylvia, whose name is actually Sylvia. Hooray!
Thank God.
Sylvia Vrethhammar from Sweden. She also sings the Swedish version. The Swedish version is on Spotify. So if you want to hear Sylvia singing Viva España, it's in Swedish, but you can do that there.
Maybe we'll chuck that in for continuity's sake on the Spotify playlist. I mean, it's a weird song, you know, all the verses, despite the simplistic I'm off to sunny Spain and live Spain, whatever she's singing. First verse, she's going on all the ladies fell for Rudolph Valentino and he had the Beano back in the balmy days. So it all seems to be about...
Valentino's Italian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing to do with Spain.
And it's weird anyway, but she somehow equates him, that film actor, and then goes off to Spain. Then the second verse, she's saying quite by chance to hot romance she found the answer. Essentially, she had a little bit of a fling with a flamenco dancer by the look of it.
I do like the lines, each time I kissed him behind the castanet, he rattled his maracas close to me. We all know what's going on there, don't we?
I like it. I like the third verse, where again, almost Dylan-esque, she goes a little bit bitchy, Sylvia. She says, when they first arrive, the girls are pink and pasty, but oh so tasty as soon as they go browing. And then she's basically saying all the women in Spain get suntan and then get knobbed by the locals. That's right, isn't it, I think?
That's pretty much what happened, and still happens to this day, probably. Why we voted leave, isn't it? So yeah, and you know, big catchy chorus. Everyone knows it. You know, this is the start of sort of package holidays in the 70s that were accessible to more and more people. More and more people were going to Spain on holiday. This is the chart in September. You can imagine they heard it when they were on the resorts in the summer. They come back, it's released, they buy it to remind themselves of the holiday. It's a pattern that happens year after year with different holiday hits.
One I can think of, I was away, and I can't remember even who sang it. It goes, you're just too beautiful, girl. That's why you know in my world I'm just so suicidal.
Suicidal. I remember that.
Not mocking suicide, by the way. It's on the internet. But the fact that I heard this record played in a crummy covers band in a holiday bar made me love this record forever.
It reminded you of that waiter, did it?
He got me suicidal.
The English version sells over 1 million copies worldwide, and it is in the UK chart for 6 months. I suppose all through the winter, people just wanted that little memory of a sunny holiday.
Can you think of any other records that mention Spain?
Spanish Eyes.
Yeah. Al Martino. Never been to Spain. That's a really obscure Elvis song, or a song Elvis did at least. Sketches of Spain by Miles Davis, which I have never listened to because I find it far too challenging.
Is it called Holidays in Spain by Counting Crows? But that's an album track.
Apparently, the Glasgow Rangers fans love this song. I imagine it's not just that team have adopted this as a football chant in some ways.
Fulham had a version of it when they got to the cup final in 1975. They did a version called Eviva Fulham.
I wonder what the three verses would have been about in the song about Fulham. For a start, it wouldn't have been about Rudolph Valentino. It would have been about feeling famous Fulhamite there. Who's famous from Fulham?
Richard Osman. He's a Fulham fan.
So the first verse, Sylvia would have been going as she was trying to nosh off Richard Osman. The second verse would have been, rather than picking a flamenco dancer, let's just say it would have been just a bloke who works in McDonald's. She would have took a shine to. And the girls with their pastiness, that's pretty much Fulham from my experience still.
There's only 2 chart hits with the word Spain in the title. Yeah. Castles in Spain by Armory Show got to number 69 in 1984, and Raoul and the Kings of Spain by Tears for Fears, which got to number 31 in 1995.
So let's say Sylvia's proclamations to enjoy yourself in Spain, they might have only passed on physically rather than musically.
Spanish, however, is in loads of songs. Spanish by Craig David, Spanish Flea, Herb Alpert, Spanish Harlem, of course. Lots of versions of that song.
Yes. Anyway, we're not talking about any of them songs. We're only being silly, really.
I first came across this song when it was sung in an episode of Fawlty Towers, briefly, by Manuel and Basil and Polly, as they are trying to obscure the sounds of an old woman hiding in a wardrobe. Right. They all start singing Evie for a Spanish. It's in the episode The Kipper and the Corpse, which is one of the best episodes of Fawlty Towers.
In part 2 of this week's Shooby Dooby Doo-Wop, we'll be deep... Hey, James, what do you think we're going to be looking at in part 2, bearing in mind with just the numbers 10 to 6?
I can't possibly imagine.
Would you believe it's the top 5 from the 16th of September 1974, including little insights like this?
It's the kind of record that Nigel Farage would hate.
The Walrus of Love would certainly be tipping his flipper at this record, wouldn't he? It sounds quite like it.
You feel like my senses come fill me again. Is this about pegging?
Yeah, it is. John Denver has got a big peg on.
Do you think, much like in the plot of Joseph, Donnie was once beaten up by his brothers and smeared with goat blood?
Let's say yeah.
Yeah. Check out our Spotify and YouTube playlists and let us know your thoughts at shoobypodcast@gmail.com. And for the songs that aren't in the top 10, join our Patreon community and become a subscriber.
Thank you for listening. Please rate, review, follow, share, send us an email.
Join our Facebook group. We've got a Facebook group, Shooby Podcast.
Scout around for maybe other money-saving things in your life so you can donate to this, I'm going to say, James.
Yeah, do that.
Thank you so much for listening, and in the meantime, Shooby Dooby Doo Wop.
Bop bop shoo up.